If you're traveling with your dog and you're considering staying at the Moxy Hotel in Virginia Beach, is that going to be a good fit for you and your dog? I recently had the opportunity to visit twice, once just to visit and to have lunch at the restaurant in the hotel, and another time to spend the night there. So we're going to break down their level of dog friendliness, how dog accommodating they are, and we're going to talk about whether or not this is going to be a good fit for you, depending on the type of dog or dogs that you are bringing with you on your travels. Now, the Moxy Hotel is incredibly fun. It is such a fun venue. Everything revolves around the lobby, and the lobby is not your traditional lobby. The lobby is actually the bar. So you are actually going to check in at the bar. They're going to give you chips for complimentary drinks. They're going to give you your keys to your room. You're going to take your elevator up to your room. Now, the lobby is so much fun because it's a giant, kind of like a play area. They have a big giant slide that takes you from one floor down to the next. There are giant games. You can do different like puzzle type games. There's a pool. There's a deck area that you can sit out when it's warmer. There's lots to do. There's lots of socialization. I will say that they are definitely a younger vibe. It is definitely going to be something where I see a lot of people like going on spring break to this hotel. It is fun. It is colorful. It's bright. They've got surfboards and lights. It's really a sight to see. Even if you're not going to stay at the Moxy Hotel, I cannot recommend enough just going to visit. Just go check out the lobby area, grab lunch at the Belvedere. It is so much fun to visit. And this is a very dog-friendly hotel. They will have water dishes out for your dogs. Your dogs can sit around and play with different things. They can hang out with you. They're not going to really mind if the dogs are on the furniture. They are very dog-friendly. But are they dog accommodating? So as I said, I took my dogs to go for lunch. We went to the Belvedere, which by the way, is an amazing restaurant. It is so fun. Previously, the Belvedere was this little hole-in-the-wall restaurant. It only had a few seats in the entire thing, and my family would go all the time. It was such a good restaurant. We'd always go for breakfast. We loved it. When they closed down, it was a really sad thing. And then when they moved into the Moxy, we were just delighted. So we go out of our way to go to the Belvedere every time we are in Virginia Beach because it is worth it. Go get lunch. Go get breakfast. They're not open at all hours, so check the hours, but go get the food. It's really good. And then you can eat it either inside of the Belvedere where they do not allow dogs. So if you have your dog with you or you're not leaving your dog in the room, you'll have to sit out in the lobby. But there's tons of seating, couches, chairs, lots of space for you to eat out there. And they will happily bring your food out to you. And they, again, have the water dishes. They've got space. They've got stuff that you can use to your benefit. In fact, the Moxy is all about taking you out of your room. All the paperwork that they've got, all their signage, they want you to not stay in your room. Rooms are actually very tiny, very condensed, and don't have a lot in there because they don't want their guests staying in the room. They want you coming out and being social, going to the bar, playing the games, taking the trip down the slide, going out to the beach. They want you to be social and engaged with the people you're with, but also available to meet new people and to do new fun things. But that brings us back to the size of the rooms. So this is right on the beach. You just walk right across the boardwalk to get out to the beach, just like everywhere else at Virginia Beach. It is very easily accessible to the beach. There's lots of great space outside. There is grass for your dogs. There's places for you to walk your dogs, aside from going out to the beach. So it's definitely just a very good venue if you are going to be traveling, if you're going to be taking your dog. That's great. The rooms, however, are not as a dog accommodating as I would like. So very dog-friendly hotel, not as much dog accommodating. And by that, I specifically mean they are tiny rooms. They are small rooms. The one that I stayed in and the ones that I've seen on their website all have like higher raised beds. You might have a tiny room with bunk beds in it. Their goal, again, is to get a bunch of people in the room, but then get you out of the room for all of your time. The room is literally just for sleeping, which means it doesn't accommodate very much. There's no closet. They have pegs on the wall that you can hang things on. They've got a hollow out space under the bed where you can tuck your suitcases away. They've got just the bare minimum. It's a very minimal design for this room, which looks really cool, but is not super functional. So the floors, at least in the room that I stayed, were hardwood, which is beautiful and helpful for cleaning up sand, but not very comfy for dogs. There's not really a lot of space to sleep. The room that I stayed in was, again, very narrow. It had the two big beds facing each other, and they had the little tuckaways under the beds, which I did not want my dogs under. And so I made sure my dogs were not under there. I actually had my dogs sleep inside of the dog strollers because we were going for a long boardwalk walk, and my dogs are still puppies and can't do full walks. So I actually had my dogs sleeping inside of their strollers just because they didn't like sleeping on the floor. There wasn't a lot of space. And the big thing for me is that there was not anywhere to put my stuff. Like, they're very minimal and they don't want closet space and they don't want drawers and they don't want all that other stuff. So your stuff is going to be sitting out. It's going to be tucked under the bed. It's going to be hanging on pegs, meaning if your dog is not really, really, really good about leaving your stuff alone, that could be a problem. It takes up space. It takes away space from your dogs. And if your dogs are still puppies, or if they're destructive in any way, or if they get curious, they have direct access to all of your things. There was nowhere for me to safely put stuff that I didn't want my dogs into. So I had to get very creative with, keeping things out of their way. I tend to bring cleaning products to hotels just to kind of clean things up. And again, I was traveling with puppies, so I wanted to make sure if anything happened, which thankfully didn't. But if anything happened, I wanted to, have some cleaning products. There was nowhere to put them. So I had to bury them in bags and bags and bags and make sure they were all zipped up so my dogs couldn't get to things that would not be healthy for them. So it's a beautiful location. I had so much fun there. For me, myself, if I were bringing a big group of people, I would love to go back to the Moxy. It's so fun. It's so colorful. You can create incredible content. I had a ball. It was gorgeous. And like I said, my first visit was literally just a visit to go get lunch because that's where I was going for lunch. And I happened to see the lobby and fell in love with the design and the atmosphere and the concepts. I loved it. So the next time I went back to the beach, I actively chose to stay there because I was so excited about it. However, because I am traveling with my pups, it is not something that was super conducive to bringing my dogs. Even my full-grown dogs, the dogs I lost earlier this year in their advanced age, my dogs were 13 when I lost them, I probably would not have taken them back to the Moxy. There have been other beaches or other places at Virginia Beach that were a little more dog accommodating. They were less dog friendly, but more dog accommodating. And so for me, it really comes down to a scale of dog friendliness versus how well they accommodate those dogs. And I would say the Moxy is exceptional for dog friendliness, but not as great for being accommodating of dogs. They try, they make the effort, especially down in the public common spaces, but the rooms themselves just are not super conducive to taking your dog. If you are going to take your dog there, just be prepared. You cannot store any of your things anywhere, so they're going to be out with your dogs. You're going to need something comfy for your dog to sit on, even if it's just like a blanket or a towel, because the floors are hard. They're hardwood. They're kind of cold. I didn't love my dogs sleeping on them. My dogs definitely slept inside of their strollers. And so you just have to be aware of how the rooms are going to work for you, and you might want to do a little bit of investigating, kind of look at some of those pictures and make that best decision for you. For me, love it. Love the vibes, love everything. Would recommend this hotel to people. Might not recommend the hotel to people with dogs, especially if you're going to be staying more than one night, just because it's not the most conducive to traveling with dogs. But that is entirely up to you. It's your decision. I would absolutely go back, definitely go back and have lunch at the Belvedere, definitely go hang out in the lobby, play games, do the fun things. If it's a long trip, I probably wouldn't take my dogs to that one just because there are other places at the beach that are a little more accommodating, if not less friendly than this one. But I cannot say enough good things aside from the fact that it's just not the best choice for my dogs as I'm traveling. Maybe it is for you, or maybe it is not for you. I hope this is kind of giving you a pretty good overview. Again, gorgeous location. They've done so well with it. It's just not the most conducive to traveling with dogs, especially if you're unprepared. If you're prepared and you're going into this knowing that you have to lift things up and block things and bring a bed and all of that stuff, if you go into it with that knowledge, no problem. But if you're going for the first time and you're not prepared for this, it can be a little bit of a shock and a little bit of a scramble to try to make it a little more livable for your dog, a little more functional while you are there. Follow along for more dog travel tips. And if you've got questions about my visit to the Moxy at Virginia Beach or my time at the beach traveling with dogs, teaching dogs how to deal with car rides and how to behave on car rides, how to behave at the beach, how to thrive at the beach, all of those things, drop those down below. We've got tons of videos inside of our playlist helping you to live out your best dog parent life and give your pups the best life that you possibly can, especially while you're traveling and especially at the beach. I loved the Moxy. I cannot say enough good things about them. They were fantastic, but it may be something you need to consider before booking with your dog. Follow along for more. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.